Louisville is screwed. How's it going, soldiers? This is Commanding Officer Taku Warlord 2. Today, almost 2 weeks since I last made my last video, I am going to do another Return of the Living Dead video. This one talking about the original. The reason for my statement was because I was reviewing the end scene of that movie where they nuke Louisville, or at least nuke the area of Resurrection Cemetery. And what happened when that commanding officer said that only 20 square blocks were destroyed. Well, a square block is roughly around 264 by 900. So that if you were to multiply that by 20, that's around 5,260 by 18,000. That seems big, but Louisville is a big city, and that's really not big. North by south, that's if you hit it right in the center of the cemetery, and the epicenter is the cemetery, north and south, the destruction goes 2,630 feet. Not miles, but feet. Same way, 18,000 if you do right in the epicenter, that's south and east. That's only 9,000 feet. That's not that big of an area. This is why we heard in the movie that only 4,000 people were killed in that explosion. Now, the fun thing about Louisville is that it has 5 current operating cemeteries, around 20 or so in total that really aren't being used anymore. Some of them are just tourist attractions, whatnot. Resurrection Cemetery, most people equate with the Eastern Cemetery in Louisville. For those of you who don't know, that was built on set in Hollywood. The gates, the crypts, the only thing in Louisville that was recorded were tall buildings at the beginning of the movie. Now let's suppose it was based on Eastern Cemetery. Okay, Eastern Cemetery has roughly 16,000 graves. It's 28 acres. There's a report that there are 138,000 bodies buried there. Now that's a lot of zombies. They're dead meat that way anyway. But let's just give 16,000 zombies for the graves that are there. Okay. That's a lot of zombies. I can't see why they'd all stay in the cemetery, not move out in the city. Trash moved out in the city and ate the homeless guy. So I can imagine a few of them would shuffle about or run about looking for more brains. They wouldn't just stay put, which means the blast missed those zombies completely. But after they destroy Resurrection Cemetery, or Eastern Cemetery, the only other cemetery completely in that area of destruction that would have been destroyed would have been Cave Hill Cemetery, which has it's underground. So the blast might not have even destroyed those bodies, and the trioxin might have flowed down there and resurrected those. I don't know. It's kind of like a catacomb, from what I understand, type cemetery. They give tours and stuff. However, there are at least 4, maybe 5, 6 cemeteries that they'd have to worry about with that virus spreading, with the acid rain and dioxin coming down on those cemeteries. People ask, well, if they nuke the cemetery, why are we looking at another cemetery? Some people say, well, it's from another town. more than likely it's still in Louisville. That's another cemetery, even though they use the same plot and the same land and the same props. For example, Calvary Cemetery has 58,000 buried there. Now, if only 16,000 were in Eastern Cemetery, Resurrection Cemetery, whatever you want to say, 58,000 in Calvary resurrected by the new wave of trioxin gas coming down with the rain. That's 3 times as many as what they had to deal with. Adolph Cemetery had 1,645 people buried. St. John Cemetery had 8,400. St. Michael Cemetery in Louisville had 40,000. I know it's hard to read my writing, sorry. Bodies buried there. Okay, that's 98,000. If we take into consideration, get rid of the theories that there's 138 bodies in Eastern, in Resurrection, that's 90,000. That's way more than 5 times what they were dealing with the last time. Here you might see Calvary, Adolph, St. John. I crossed that out because this one here was meant Eastern Cemetery. St. Michael Cemetery, Middleview Cemetery. Sorry, I can't even read my own writing. Got a new pair of glasses. Bethany Cemetery, Memorial Cemetery, Clark Cemetery, Portland Cemetery. And I didn't even do all the bodies that buried in there. Mainly because that a lot of those cemeteries, and I don't know how big Louisville is. I don't know if it's got an area that 30 miles away you're still in Louisville or suburbs of Louisville. But these 4 were roughly around the same area of the main city, but were far enough away that they were not going to be destroyed by that explosion, and they would have been resurrected. That's way over 100,000 zombies you just made, not counting the people who were in the acid rain. Bye! See ya! So, bottom line, the president's going to come to Louisville, give a speech. I don't know what explanation he has to say about why they nuked them. Probably claim it was an accident. And everyone's dead. The zombies are just going to overwhelm the people. Anyway, this is just a little note I did. I thought it would be fun to do. Bottom line, Louisville's death. Done. It's gone. And with the president being there, he's probably bidden. Which means President Bush, 1984 is when the movie takes place, wasn't released. Our time, that's 85. But in the movie time period, it was 84. Which means Reagan was president. Bush is now president. So, yeah. Not only is Louisville pretty much messed up, but we probably are too. Anyway, this was a fun little hint. Fun little talk about. I hope you enjoy that. If you guys have any more information on Louisville that you can give me about the size or what cemeteries are where, or even if like some of these were like in 30 miles away from Eastern Cemetery, if that would still technically be in Louisville, that would be great. Down there in the comments. If you like this video, hit like, and if you haven't subscribed to me, stomp all over that subscribe button. I'm going to try to make more content in the future, maybe more zombie stuff if that gets popular. And you guys take care of yourselves. You stay safe in this, talking about viruses, at least COVID doesn't raise the dead world, and wear your masks and take care, guys. Ciao.